Hi guys, I hope you're all well. I haven't done a time-lapse drawing video in a while, so I figured I'd throw this out there. So this is going to be me attempting to draw The Witcher, which is the new Netflix series if you haven't watched it already. So this is the main character from it, Geralt. And this actually only took me about 45 minutes in total, which for me is really good because normally I can spend hours and hours, if not days, drawing a portrait and it doesn't turn out great. This one does turn out good for me, but not perfect. There are a lot of mistakes that I noticed afterwards. Unfortunately for the first part of the video, I'm sketching it out quite lightly, so I don't know how well it shows on camera. It does get darkened later on, so it does become much more visible, don't worry. If the lighting looks weird as well, it's because I have upped the contrast on this. Again, that's because of me drawing so light. I try to darken the darks and lighten the lights so that the pencil marks show up a little bit better on camera. Hopefully it is visible enough for everyone. And the actual purpose of me drawing this was for a different video. I recently bought these mechanical pencils that you can see me using here. These are the Pentel Graphgear pencils. I've been wanting to get my hands on these for ages. A lot of artists online use them. So I was really excited to get these pencils and I wanted to record a video just to see what they're like and even review them on camera. That video will be out in a week, but that's the reason why I actually recorded this. Because I liked the way it turned out despite its many mistakes, I figured I'd try and make it into its own video as well and just talk through the process a little bit. So I actually started off with the Andrew Loomis method for drawing heads, and the construction lines are still there very faintly. I split the face into 3 sections. So from the bottom of the chin to the bottom of the nose, from the bottom of the nose to the eyebrows, and from the eyebrows to the hairline. Looking back now, I maybe didn't get them quite like the reference I was using, but I think it still has a slight look of him. I forget the actor's name. I think it's Henry Cavill. I think that's how you pronounce it. He also plays Superman, for those of you who have not seen The Witcher yet. So he's got quite a good bone structure in his face and I wanted to capture that. So good jawline and things like that. I am only using a HB lead. So if I'd have had a B lead in this pencil, I could have probably gone darker and upped the contrast more, maybe improved it further. I'm not entirely sure. Hopefully you can tell it's starting to take shape a little bit now. At the time of drawing this, I was really impressed with it. And then I came back the day after and I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot that should have been improved on this. But as I say, for 45 minutes, for me at least, I was really happy with it. I personally prefer sketching over colouring at the moment, using markers and things like that. Sketching comes a little bit more natural to me and I enjoy the process a little bit more too. But one thing I do struggle with when it comes to sketching and pencil work is drawing hair. So you'll probably notice on this, I do draw the hair, but I keep it quite sketchy. I don't try to make it too detailed, because to be honest, I knew I would mess up the whole drawing if I did. But overall, I think it still worked with this style. As mentioned, I am using reference. I've been watching the Witcher series over the last few weeks. I really enjoy it. So it's fresh in my mind and I figured I'd find some reference on Google and try and draw him. Even though I spent about 45 minutes on this, I actually spent about 10 minutes at the end just drawing his shoulder pad. It looked pretty good in the photo reference, but I was a bit worried it would take away from his face because it was darker and therefore probably is going to stand out a little bit more. Once I did start drawing all the metal little buttons on there, I kind of regretted it because it was a little bit nitpicky work. It got a little bit frustrating, but it ended up pretty good. You'll see that in a second. Sorry, I'm a little bit ahead of the video here. I blocked in the shading overall on the face where I wanted it to be pretty much from the beginning, once I'd got the structure in. But I do keep going over it to darken areas and build on them bit by bit instead of trying to do it all from the beginning and messing it up. I even try to include some shading on the hair towards the end, but I keep it quite subtle because he does have pretty much white hair. I couldn't keep it completely without anything because it wouldn't have looked right, but the shading had to be very light to not look like he had darker hair, if that makes sense. But yeah, I find hair one of the most difficult things about working with pencil, or at least in a realistic style like this. So the video has been sped up about 6 or 7 times faster. As already mentioned, it took me about 45 minutes from start to finish. Looking back at this piece now, I would have actually liked to darken certain areas on his face to give it a little bit more depth, I would also change the placement of the eye a little bit, and overall I think his face shape is a little bit too big the way I've drawn it, certain features. His nose was even a little bit too flat, but I can't remember if that is more the angle that I was drawing it from. You might notice I do switch between different pencil sizes as well. Again, that's because I was actually reviewing these for a video and they came in a pack of 4 different sizes. I'll put a link in the description box below and on screen at the end of the video for those of you who want to check out the video. I would be interested in hearing what other characters you guys want to see me draw in the future, and to know if you guys have been watching The Witcher and what you think to it so far. So now that I'm getting on towards these metallic buttons, I was a little bit worried about getting detail on these. They actually didn't require much detail, but they required high contrast, so going in quite dark and leaving some areas completely white, just because that's one of the properties of the texture on metal when drawing them. Obviously this video isn't a tutorial, more just a time-lapse of me drawing this and trying to give some tips and just babbling on randomly. A side note, I really did enjoy using these pencils. I'm looking forward to drawing more with them. And on the left there you can probably see the T-Rex I drew in my brush pen video. I'll stick a link to that in the description box below as well for those that are interested. If I hadn't have upped the contrast, it would look more natural, the lighting in the video, but the illustration wouldn't have shown up quite as well. And as mentioned, this was all done in a HB LED, so I could only really get so dark. That being said, I probably could have gone darker if I would have gone in and kept working on it. I wanted to keep this fairly quick though. As mentioned, it wasn't intended for a video on its own, but hopefully you guys will like it anyway. So that's it guys. Overall I was pleased with how this turned out, but it's definitely far from perfect, and I could definitely change the positioning of a lot of the features and improve this massively. But hey, it's 45 minutes, it's not bad. For me at least. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Leave me a comment below. Let me know if you guys are watching The Witcher at the moment and who you want me to draw next. And make sure you subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching everyone.